Animals, whether tame or wild, do need our help to get by from time to time. You know an animal has exhausted all of its options if you see it coming to humans for help. Sometimes they get stuck in weird places, sometimes they need to be treated for something, and sometimes they need help rescuing their children. So make sure you subscribe and let's look at 20 instances where animals were rescued by humans. A bunch of helpless little puppies were rescued from the drain successfully. But when they were cleaned up and looked at properly, they actually weren't puppies at all. They were red fox pups. There were 8 of them. The mother was nowhere to be seen. Many people don't know this, but fox families actually work a little bit like ours. The dad's job is to go and hunt for food, while the mother cares for the babies. But this fox family seems to be missing their father. It's just the mom and her 4 kids. She led a woman who she trusted to her babies. Then the woman almost became a sort of surrogate father. She'd bring food to the family regularly. This duck was also an anxious mother who asked humans for help because her children were in danger. The little ducklings had fallen down a drain, so she went about creating a ruckus trying to get people to notice she needed help. Soon they did, so they went down and rescued the ducklings. This sloth was in the middle of the road, and considering how slow they move, this would have been really dangerous. This kind man picked it up and moved it away to the other side of the road, back to where it belongs, in a tree. It was a bad idea to try and cross the fence like this. You can't even see the dog's face, just its rear end. The dog's owner looked like this isn't the first time something like this has happened. It's not surprising at all that the dog knew where to go and who to ask for help. Its paw was injured. To ask for help, she wagged her tail and put her paw in the pharmacist's hand, who took care of her and cleaned the wounds. This cat hurt one of its rear legs and came to this person. Then the cat was taken to the vet and treated for its injuries. Not too long after, the injuries began to heal and it made a full recovery. Villagers in India discovered a leopard had fallen into a well 25 feet deep and was stuck. They tranquilized the big cat and tied a rope around it. Then a rescue worker climbed down the well and brought it up, after which it was taken to a nearby zoo. This dog was begging them to help her with her injured babies. She didn't stop trying to communicate with them and watched as they picked up her wounded baby and took it to get the required help. The puppy was in so much pain, it began crying when they lifted him, and so did the mother. Animals are very sensitive and feel very deeply. It just breaks our heart to see this. But fortunately, the baby recovered and was soon reunited with its family. We don't know just how the dog got its body stuck in the grill fence this way. People noticed pretty soon and then gathered around to find a way to help it out. One guy slowly distorted its leg and wrangled the dog out of there. This moose got stuck in some quicksand. It just so happened that 2 guys from Ontario were passing by and decided to help out and get it out of there. The poor animal was buried right up to his head and fought as hard as he could to make it. The men at first called for help, but when it didn't come, they took matters into their own hands and attached straps to the moose and pulled it out of there together. Here we see a lion who got its head lodged in a barrel and thought the best way to get out was by wildly running around in circles. Zookeepers place food in these barrels, and the lion was probably so hungry it shoved its head in a little too deep. The lion jumps around and even runs toward the zoo visitors because it doesn't know what else to do. This family stopped their car to check out what was going on when they heard a bird crash into it. It was a red-tailed hawk. It had gotten its head stuck in the grill. Then everyone took turns trying to pry its head out of there. while being careful not to hurt the bird. And eventually, it actually worked. Here we see a python who seriously underestimated its own size and ability to squeeze its body through the fence, and as a result, got itself stuck. When animal control came to the scene, they discovered a goose was still inside the snake's belly. They then tapped its belly and got it to throw the goose up, which it actually did after quite a while. This desperate squirrel wanted some of the food that was put out for the birds, but it really didn't know how big it was and got itself stuck in the cage. The family who set up the cage then had to take it down and call the authorities to get the squirrel out safe and sound. An officer came with clippers and had to cut the cage open to free the chunky squirrel. This cow had a calf who was born on the slope between a pond and the fence. The newborn slid down and under the fence, so the poor calf was stuck on the other side away from its mommy. But then this guy passed by who actually came to film the cows, and ended up reuniting the baby and the mom too. When this whale gave birth to her baby, it got stuck in a shark net, and as she tried to get it out, it got further trapped. A local diver noticed the whale in distress, and then got a rescue team who saved the baby whale. This elephant was shot in the head, but luckily it survived. When found, it was tranquilized by the first aid team, and an x-ray was done, which revealed a deformed bullet stuck in its skull. Fortunately, he soon made a full recovery. This mother bear's babies were stuck in some trouble. She didn't know what to do, but then she ran into this hunter. He noticed how unusual it was for a bear to try and say something instead of attacking. So he followed the bear and found her babies had gotten stuck in a fish net and needed help getting out. Alright, comment down below and let us know if you've ever helped an animal out in their time of need. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Trend Joint, and hit that bell icon for more. See ya!